In a move set to send shockwaves through the American healthcare system, President Trump has signed a new executive order aimed at bringing unprecedented transparency to healthcare pricing. This executive order is a significant step in the administration's broader strategy to reform the healthcare system, which has long been criticized for its opacity and complexity. This bold action seeks to empower patients with the information they need to make informed decisions about their medical care. By making pricing information readily available, the administration hopes to create a more competitive environment where patients can shop for the best value. For too long, the true cost of healthcare services has remained shrouded in secrecy, leaving Americans in the dark about the bills they face. This lack of transparency has often resulted in unexpected and exorbitant medical bills, causing financial strain for many families. This lack of transparency has led to a system where prices vary wildly for the same procedures, even within the same geographic area. Patients undergoing identical treatments at different facilities can receive vastly different bills, with no clear explanation for the discrepancies. Patients are often left feeling powerless, unable to compare costs or shop around for the best value. This has created a sense of frustration and helplessness among those who need medical care but are unsure of how to navigate the financial aspects of the system. The Trump administration believes that this lack of transparency has fueled rising healthcare costs, putting a strain on families and businesses alike. Small businesses, in particular, have struggled to provide affordable healthcare options for their employees due to the unpredictable nature of healthcare expenses. With this new executive order, President Trump aims to pull back the curtain on healthcare pricing, ushering in a new era of openness and accountability. The administration envisions a future where patients can easily access and understand the costs associated with their care, leading to more informed decision-making. The order represents a significant escalation of the Trump administration's ongoing efforts to address the issue of rising healthcare costs. By mandating greater transparency, the administration hopes to drive down prices through increased competition and consumer choice. Building upon previous initiatives that have sought to inject greater competition and patient choice into the healthcare marketplace, this executive order is seen as a pivotal moment in the fight to make healthcare more affordable and accessible for all Americans. The administration is optimistic that these changes will lead to a more efficient and equitable healthcare system, benefiting patients, providers, and businesses alike. The American healthcare system has long been plagued by a lack of transparency when it comes to pricing. This issue has persisted for decades, leaving patients and their families in a constant state of uncertainty and frustration. Unlike other industries where consumers can easily compare costs before making a purchase, healthcare operates in a completely different realm. In most sectors, you can shop around, compare prices, and make informed decisions based on your budget and needs. However, healthcare has operated under a veil of secrecy. This lack of transparency is not just an inconvenience. It can have serious consequences for patients who are trying to manage their health and finances. Patients have traditionally been left in the dark about the true cost of procedures, treatments, and medications. They often receive care without any idea of what the final bill will look like, leading to shock and confusion when the bill arrives. Often, they only discover the price tag after receiving care. This can lead to unexpected financial burdens that can be overwhelming, especially for those who are already dealing with health issues. This lack of transparency can be attributed to several factors, including the complex web of payers, providers, and intermediaries that make up the U.S. healthcare system. The system is so convoluted that even experts sometimes struggle to understand it. The widespread practice of negotiated discounts between insurers and healthcare providers has also contributed to the opacity of pricing. These negotiations are often done behind closed doors, with little to no input from the patients who will ultimately foot the bill. This makes it difficult for patients to discern the actual cost of care. They are left to navigate a maze of information, often without the tools or knowledge needed to make sense of it all. The lack of price transparency has created a system where patients are often left vulnerable to surprise medical bills. These bills can come as a shock, especially when patients believe they have done everything right by choosing in-network providers and getting pre-approvals. They face unexpected charges for services they thought were covered by their insurance. This can lead to heated disputes with insurance companies, adding stress to an already difficult situation. This lack of predictability and control over healthcare costs has led to financial hardship for many Americans. Families are forced to dip into savings, take on debt, or even declare bankruptcy due to medical expenses. This financial strain forces them to make difficult choices between their health and their financial well-being. Some may delay or forego necessary treatments, while others may struggle to afford basic necessities like food and housing. The need for greater transparency in healthcare pricing is not just a matter of convenience, it's a matter of justice and equity for all patients. Building upon previous efforts to address the issue of healthcare price transparency, such as the 2019 initiative that required hospitals to disclose their negotiated rates, the Trump administration has taken a bold step forward. This initiative was a significant move towards making healthcare costs more transparent, but it was just the beginning. The 2019 rule laid the groundwork by mandating that hospitals reveal the prices they had negotiated with insurers, giving patients a glimpse into the often opaque world of healthcare pricing. Now, the Trump administration's 2025 executive order represents a significant escalation in the fight to empower patients with greater control over their healthcare costs. This new directive is not just a continuation, but an expansion of the previous efforts. It aims to provide patients with even more comprehensive information, ensuring that they are fully equipped to make informed decisions about their health care. The executive order was signed in a ceremony that underscored its importance, with key officials highlighting the transformative potential of this policy. This new order goes further than ever before, mandating that all healthcare providers, including hospitals, physicians, and clinics, make their prices for common services publicly available in a consumer-friendly format. This means that whether you are visiting a large hospital or a small clinic, you will have access to clear and understandable pricing information. The goal is to eliminate the confusion and uncertainty that often surrounds medical billing, making it easier for patients to understand what they will be charged for various services. The executive order also requires insurers to provide patients with personalized estimates of their out-of-pocket costs for specific medical services before they receive care. This is a crucial aspect of the policy, as it addresses one of the biggest pain points for patients: the unpredictability of medical expenses. By receiving a detailed estimate in advance, patients can plan their finances better and avoid unexpected bills. This transparency is expected to reduce the financial stress associated with medical care and help patients make more informed choices. This will allow patients to compare costs across different providers and make informed decisions about where to seek treatment. For example, if a patient needs a routine procedure, they can now easily compare the prices at different hospitals and clinics and choose the one that offers the best value. This competitive environment is expected to drive down prices, as providers will be motivated to offer more affordable options to attract patients. The order also aims to increase competition within the healthcare industry by requiring insurers to offer plans with transparent and predictable pricing structures. This means that insurance companies will need to be more upfront about the costs associated with their plans, making it easier for consumers to compare different options. The increased competition is expected to lead to more affordable and higher quality healthcare plans, benefiting patients across the board. The executive order has been met with praise from patient advocacy groups and some conservative lawmakers, who argue that it will finally bring much-needed transparency to the healthcare market. These groups have long advocated for greater openness in healthcare pricing, and they see this executive order as a major victory. They believe that by shining a light on the true costs of medical services, the policy will help to eliminate price gouging and ensure that patients are treated fairly. They believe that by empowering patients with price information, the executive order will foster greater competition among healthcare providers, ultimately driving down costs and improving the quality of care. When patients have the information they need to make informed choices, providers will be incentivized to offer better services at lower prices. This, in turn, is expected to lead to a more efficient and effective healthcare system, where patients receive high-quality care without breaking the bank. The hope is that this policy will set a new standard for transparency in healthcare, benefiting millions of Americans in the years to come. Proponents of the executive order argue that increased price transparency will have a transformative impact on the American healthcare system. By providing patients with clear and accessible information about the cost of medical services, the order aims to empower individuals to make more informed decisions about their health care, leading to greater value for their money. With greater price transparency, Patients will no longer be forced to make healthcare decisions in the dark. They will be able to shop around for the best prices on everything from routine checkups to complex surgical procedures, just as they do for other goods and services. This increased competition among providers is expected to drive down costs, as healthcare facilities strive to attract patients with more competitive pricing. As Cynthia Fisher, founder and chairman of PatientRightsAdvocate.org, puts it, price transparency is the most important, most foundational reform to fix the American healthcare system. Fisher argues that transparency brings truth, and in that truth, patients can be empowered to be shoppers and savers.